very glad to be here this morning. And I want to tell you 71 and 70 people, it's good to have your 81st birthday, which was mine this past February. Okay, I'm going to try and sing this morning because I haven't been singing much lately. Let me get a thing on my mind.
Amen. Let the French doing law do nothing. My Lord, beautiful. Beautiful. Amen. Isn't it praise God? Amen. I heard somebody say, nobody can do it like you.
Yes, sir. Ain't nobody.
Nobody. I'm looking at our and it's kind of short. So, you know, the thing about it, we got a clock back there, very cognitive all the time. So I want to keep it long, but this is first time. But there is a note that's struck me, and I want to talk about, if you're allowed, just for a minute or so, a few minutes, to talk about what to do when your heart is broken. I don't know about you, but have your heart ever been broken? I know mine have. And it's not anything you take lightly. Your heart is a fragile thing. And I'm just not talking about this anatomy of the heart, but I'm talking about the heart or the citadel of your soul. I heard the preacher say one time that is what God is that portion of yourself that consumes you for either good or even for bad. It can consume you to be spiritual or not spiritual. It's all encompassing. So when you talk about the soul of a person, I would say it's there in that heart on how we are inside of ourselves. If somebody want to ask where, I heard somebody one time, sounds sick. I'm telling them my heart was broken. They tell me, no, your heart is still beating. Your heart is still beating. No, but my heart is broken. No, your heart is still beating. So many minutes, and so on and everything. But when you go through life, sometimes you go through some hard times. Sometimes you go through some difficult times. And we don't wish this on anyone, but it happens. That's how life is. If you have the Bible, I would ask that you turn with me quickly. As I said, we won't be long this morning in this first sermon. But I'm preaching this morning from the book of Psalms, the 55th chapter, the 55th book, rather, of the book of Psalms, because we know that Psalms are made up of many books. So this is the 55th book of Psalms. Amen? You got to say amen. Anybody need a little bit more time? Psalms 55. I tell you what a blessing it is sitting there receiving standing up. God. 55th book of Psalms, and it reads as such. Give ear to my prayer, O God, and hide not thyself from my supplication. Attend unto me, and hear me. I moan in my complaint, and make a noise. Because of the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked, for they cast iniquity upon me, and wrath, they hate me. My heart is sore pain within me, and the terrors of death are falling upon me. Fearful and trembling are come upon me, and horror have overwhelmed me. You may be seated. I'm talking about the pain. of going through something. We have here a Psalm of David. And David was going through something. He was going through a personal crisis in his own life. And that personal crisis manifested itself in this painful cry unto the Lord and saying, Lord, hear me, please hear me. For I am in pain, I am suffering. Don't hide yourself from me, God. I need you now. Have you ever cried like that to the Lord? I know I have. I cried unto the Lord until he heard answer my plea. David was heartbroken. He was in pain. He was suffering because of what happened to him. His kingdom was going against him. He became this new king of Israel, and all of a sudden everything was going well, but then something crashed against him. I'm not going to go into the full story because I don't have time. But the problem started within his own family, within his own household. Because part of the reason of the problem David had was because of the sin that he had done previously. Huh? Sometimes we have issues and problems, and sometimes we don't have to point at somebody else for causing our misery. Sometimes we have to point at ourselves. Are you praying with me? And David found himself at a turning point where not only he had to point outwardly, but then he had to look inwardly at himself. Because he created the monster and the heartbreak that was upon him right now. And the heartbreak came from his own son. Are you praying with me? His own son started turning against him because there was an instance in the family where one of David's half-sisters, I was going to one of his son's half-sister, was raped by one of the brothers. And they came back, everybody knew about it. They turned to David and asked David what he was going to do about it. And David kind of turned his head and didn't do anything. And the other brother, one of the brothers, Absalom, said, wait a minute, what's wrong with my father not doing something to this wicked brother who had just raped my sister? He's not going to do something, well, I'm going to do something. So he created something, his son Absalom. To make the story short, he killed the brother. He killed the brother that had raped the sister. And then David still didn't do anything. And then what happened after that? All chaos broke loose. His son turned against the kingdom, turned against his father. The father, one of the father's best generals, the best friends, turned against David as well. And if you continue to read down, it said, my enemy shout against me and threaten me even with death. David called his enemy who turned against him. Now listen there. Who was David's enemy? Sometimes our enemies can be those that we sometimes love the most. And I hate to say I'm the enemy, but those are sometimes the people that hurt us the most. And I really don't want to call them enemies. It could be a neighbor, a friend. You have a good friend. And y'all were friends all through grade school, all through high school, all through school. Then something happened. He gets heartbroken, something is said, words in exchange, and all of a sudden your best friend becomes your worst enemy. Huh? And this happens all the time. Sometimes it's the person in your own household. All of a sudden you are having a good time with your family for years and years and years. And then all of a sudden you decide to be a preacher. Huh? You all of a sudden decide to turn your life over to the Lord. And everybody in your household and family is saying, what happened to him? Oh, what happened to her? We used to go out and stomp our foot all night long. We used to party all night long. They used to drink the Lord and more gripper than I did. Huh? And all of a sudden you decided that, no, I'm giving my life now unto the Lord. And that person that was one time your friend, that person that was one time in your household, is always reminding you of where you used to be. Huh? They remember how you used to be, and guess what? wicked and said, my enemy has turned against me. And they are after me. They want to kill me. The people I once loved, my own son, has turned against me. And then David has a pitiful plea. And I'm going to read this to you. It was not the enemy who haunted me. He said, I could have dealt with that. Okay? As you read down into verse 12, he said, I could have dealt with that. I could have hid it. He said, I could escape. I could have dealt with all of that. But he said, what bothers me the most is the fellowship that I one time had with him. And then David put out a solemn cry. He said, oh, if I could just fly away. He said, if I could take a flight just like the morning dove and just fly away. Are you praying with me? Have you ever felt like that? Sometimes just wanting to fly away. Just be gone. Get out of it all. Get out of the madness. Get out of the craziness. Get out of the backbiting. The people who once loved you are now turned against you. All the lies, all the gossip about you. Sometimes you just want to get away from it all. We are all like that. If you haven't been like that, just keep on living. Just keep on living. Because I tell you something, every day is the day of rainbows. Every day you're going to have lilies sprung before you pass. You're going to have roses spread up every day all around you. Some days you're going to go through something. Am I right about it? Some days you're going to go through something, and no matter how much you've been praying, you still may go through something. That's the part that bothers us sometimes. We say, Lord, I'm praying up. I'm praying all night long. But why am I still going through this? Why am I still going through this torment and this torture? My heart is broken in prayer. But that's the time when you call upon the Lord even more. You don't give up on God, for God hasn't given up on you. Even though you're going through something, guess what? It could be a whole lot worse. You know, some of the times I thought I was going through something, I thought I would never see the sunshine again. But God makes a way out of nowhere. God can make the sun shine. Somebody told me one time, in the darkest of the night, the smallest star can still be seen. Amen. Over the clouds, there's still a sun to be shown. After the rain, there's a rainbow. There's something good. Just hang on and turn on to God. And what David did, read this whole psalm. When David was going through this crisis, when he was going through this heartbreak, when his heart was bleeding and being torn apart, David turned unto the Lord. He said, Lord, I lean upon you at this time, and you will bless me out of my misery. Are you praying with me? Yes. Turn unto God when you're going through a crisis. Don't give up. Don't say it's all over. So many people, I've heard people say, why are you praying? Why are you continuing to pray? God has turned his back on you. Remember, sometimes it's some of the people that you love the most may hurt you. Remember Jesus. Remember after the Last Supper when Jesus was there with all of his disciples. All of them who were with Jesus, slept with Jesus, ate with Jesus, saw Jesus do all of those wonderful miracles that Jesus did. But there was another disciple who Jesus said, when I dip my bread into the wine, that's going to be the friend that betrays me. Hallelujah, somebody. See, sometimes Jesus wasn't moved from that. But you call upon the name of the Lord. After that happened, what did Jesus do? The Bible said Jesus got up, went to the Garden of Gethsemane, and the Bible said he bowed down and prayed so much that sweat formed on his brow like drops of blood. You prayed through the misery. You prayed through the heartbreak. Prayed through the hard time. And God will make a way for you out of nowhere. My God is still high and lifted up.